Why does my lighting look so? Let me actually turn this up. I think that's better. Okay, I'm whispering. So, this is really awkward for me because it's my first live, but I don't want to go through the whole editing process. And I don't think anybody's going to watch this anyway. So, it's good practice for me. I initially never wanted to make this video or really talk about this. It's something I really wanted to keep personal and internal because it's still a work in progress for me. But after doing a lot of self-reflection, I really feel that it's almost my responsibility to talk about this because it's something that I've experienced. I've had a lot of practice of doing this, and it's really just the art of letting shit die and letting things go. And I've seen what it looks like when people just cannot let shit die. I've seen what it looks like when they're young. I've seen what it looks like when they're middle aged. I've seen what it looks like when they're old. People have their shoulders to their ears. They pop a blood vessel in their eye and then it heals and then they pop it again because they re-stress themselves out. It looks like somebody driving in the car, not even having 2 minutes of peace because somebody did something to them in the road, and then it triggers a memory from yesterday when they were a passenger and the driver wasn't driving the way they wanted to, and it's just they spend their whole drive in this trance and addiction of stress, and ultimately not being able to let shit go is forming a stress addiction, and the older you get, it cements. You become a cemented statue of this almost like mental disease. It's not a mental disease, but it should be called a mental disease because you just can't let shit die. And it's funny because there are so many YouTubers, TikTokers who talk about bettering yourself and being reborn and just bettering yourself, yeah, bettering yourself as a whole, but not a lot of people talk about how to kill that part of you, how to kill that piece of you that's preventing you from transcending into a better version of yourself. And so I really want to focus this channel on the death aspect of it because that part is so important and nobody wants to talk about it because death is very taboo. In a lot of cultures, death is normalized, it's celebrated. Even I'm sure a lot of you guys know, there are, like, representations of death. The Aztecs had representations of death. Asian culture has representation of death. The phoenix is a representation of death. There are death holidays, there are rituals in regards to death, whether that's an emotional death, a spiritual death, a physical death. And so, yeah, I really want to talk about, I guess, the beginning stages of it. I want to call it like beginning stage grasp. And when I say grasp, like I said earlier, I've seen what it looks like when all ages have this problem. And the older you get and you're holding on to something, I heard this analogy of like holding onto a rope. And you're holding onto a rope, and the rope is being pulled, and you're holding on, and it's causing you pain. It's causing you rope burn. So your hands are bleeding, they're red, they're burnt because all you had to do was let go of the rope, and you refuse to do that. And so I think like this video, I really want to just cover the people that are like in their 20s, late 20s, maybe about to turn 30. It's like my age group because it's still somewhat easy for you to learn to let shit die. And so I want to talk about 3 things that I think could help. And I just want to preface, I'm not a psychologist. Um, I'm not, I don't have any like degrees in regards to psychology. I'm a marketer by trade. But I have like a fascination for the mind and reading about psychology because as a marketer, you need to know about how people think. And so everything that I'm talking about is from personal experience because I used to be a person who was very about control, just very type A domineering personality. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We need those people in the world and it's good for you to be that way, but it's not good for you to be that way to the point where you can't just let shit go and you can't distinguish or decipher when to fight for something and when to let things die. And it cements you into something ugly, crazy, and I digress. I'm going to get into it right now. So that's my experience in case you were wondering, like, who the hell are you? So the first thing I want to point out that may or may not help you is the way people act have nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. And this is something I learned from reading a lot of Robert Greene and his books on psychology and just being kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so when somebody does something to you that isn't fair, they've harmed you in some way, they've hurt your feelings, they've done you wrong, which you didn't do anything to deserve. It's really easy to like adopt that and internalize it. And I think it's really liberating to know that that doesn't have anything to do with you. You were just the most convenient target at that point of time. And genuinely, if you can just learn to laugh it off, like, of course, you're probably going to be mad. Like, you're human, I'm human. Of course, we get mad, but whatever, brush it off. They're probably miserable. However, you need to justify it to yourself. It doesn't have anything to do with you. And move on. They'll never be as happy as you if you can just learn to choose yourself. So, that pain that you feel, that you have every right to feel when somebody harms you, absorb it if you want, feel it, don't suppress it. But like once you feel it, let that shit go. Two, the next one. We kind of touched on this earlier. Holding on to what happened to you keeps you stuck. And not only does it keep you stuck, but it cements over time. And it's harder to break that mental cycle, and you have to break it. You have to talk to yourself before you can even think about moving on and doing this and doing that. Like that cycle, you can't let it cement you and you turn into some crazy, ugly, crazy, and it ages you. That cycle, it will age you. Let it go. Let it go. And so, yeah. And I'll make another video about literally how to let it go. Besides affirmations, there are things that you can do. You can take these and make them into affirmations that suit you. But in another video, I will talk about ways that I've personally learned to let things die apart from journaling affirmations and stuff. So, yeah, don't let holding on to things make you old, ugly, and crazy. Three, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. I heard this quote and I can't take credit for it because I saw it in a TikTok comment, but this shit stuck with me. And this quote said, Your problems, oh yeah, hold on, let me see. Your problems don't make you special. The truth is, we all have problems. You're the only one desperate enough to make it your personality. Girl, when I heard that, When I heard that, I was shook. Like, damn. If somebody said that to me in real life, I would be like, it would stick with me for sure. But I'm gonna repeat it. Your problems don't make you special. The truth is, we all have problems. You're the only one desperate enough to make it your personality. And just don't let that be you. Don't let it be you. I'm sorry if that offends you or hurts your feelings. I don't mean it in a place of like bullying you, but at the same time, kind of true. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say is that try your best to look at death through another lens, whether that's death of a piece of you that you don't like, emotional death, physical death, spiritual death. There's a lot of versions of death, and they don't all need to be ugly, and you don't need to be afraid of it. So that's it. That's all I kind of wanted to talk about for my intro video. Thank you for watching and sticking around this far if you made it this far. Again, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, was not my intentions. And yeah, leave your comments. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them in the next video. So leave them below. And until next time, bye.